Welcome to another Healy Hangout, and I'm just so happy to see so many lovely faces here. And I just wanted to introduce myself and also Vicky, who is my partner in crime in the Healy Avalon group. Actually, she hasn't been in the forefront yet. So this is one of her first introductions, on camera and in the recording. So I'm Abbey. I received my Healy last year, last summer. And as some of you know in this group, it kind of changed my life. And what I noticed was that we didn't have much information, and we still don't have that much information to be able to share and to be able to just build a community of like-minded people so we can share our passion in one place, which is what Healy Hangout is all about. So, and also Healy Avalon. So that's me, and I just wanted to just introduce Vicky. Vicky, do you want to introduce yourself? I think you're muted. Yeah.
Hi everyone, it's brilliant to meet you all, and thank you, Abbey, for giving us the push to get organised and with a rhythm so we can do this and bring everyone together and get the momentum behind all of it, really, behind supporting people who have a Healy but don't really know how to use it, people who are having trouble with using the back end, say, and learning how to like make new accounts for people, how to. Abby's really methodically minded, and she's really good at putting stuff in lists and making order, and I'm really blessed because it's exactly the opposite to me. I'm rubbish at making organisation, lists, databases, making it make sense. So I really feel like me and Abby are a brilliant partnership. I'm all about go and tell everybody right now with loads of enthusiasm and the actual physical working out the back end and the admin and the support. Abby's just perfect with. So we decided to make Healy Avalon for not only for our group that's growing quite quickly down in Glastonbury, but also Abbey is getting approached by loads of other people that their upline aren't supporting them in how to do certain things. They're having issues. So Abbey's helping loads of different people. So we're going to start bringing it in and creating a forum and creating these Healy Hangouts so we can support everybody no matter where they are with it, and maybe put in really newbies. So we've got beginners that don't understand what the Healy is whatsoever, then people who want to make the most out of the Healy that have it and don't understand the programs, and then people who want support for the business stuff as well. So that's where we're at the moment. And I can tell you about my crazy Healy story later. But thanks to Abbey, she's been holding my hand, and hopefully I can hold my group's hand just as well. So that's the plan.
Thanks, Vicky. Awesome. Thanks for introducing me as well. It's really hard to talk about yourself sometimes, isn't it? Vicky's amazing. She came on my team, and she's just helped me in so many ways to share the Healy, and has brought something to me that I've not been able to do in the past as well. So we will cover on that today. So we're kind of two sides of the same coin. So we're going to be able to bring you two different methods on some challenges of sharing Healy. So a quick agenda update. What we're going to cover today is, firstly, we will cover the challenges of sharing Healy, and the second stage will be question and answers. So anyone who's got questions, feel free to put them in the chat, or if you don't want to speak, or if you do want to speak, I will offer the opportunity after the first stage to share your questions with us, and we'll do our best to answer your questions. And if we've got time at the end, I will offer an opportunity for anyone to share their testimonial if they want to. So if you're not sure, have a think about it during the call, and if you feel like sharing, please do, or even just share your testimonial in the chat so we can use it for the future, or to share with other people to show how well you're doing with the Healy. So starting with stage one, I'm just gonna open up this question of how do we share the Healy, because from my post that I posted on Healy Avalon, I find it a little bit difficult to share Healy sometimes, because I have done in the past with friends, and they think I'm just selling something to them, like I'm just blagging it and this is just a whole load of rubbish. And you know, when you start to bring out the sales talk and they just go, oh, this is a sales talk, and how do you actually share it? So I feel like a lot of the time what I've noticed is we spend a lot of time in our heads and in our lifetime, and we're taught to share something to make money, and you know, we have to survive, and we live in this other space of mind. And I feel like what we really need to do to understand and how to share Healy is to really tune in and feel into our heart space, because that's what Healy's all about. Healy's all about sharing the benefits on how we heal and how we can heal our mind, body and soul. And what I'd like to is all just invite you to is just to maybe just close your eyes for a moment and just tune in to that heart space, to that space which is the unconditional space, and just really become aware of the type of thoughts that you hold around the Healy, and the thought process and the feelings you get when you think about sharing Healy. And just taking that moment to really just feeling into that space. And are they positive feelings or are they negative feelings? All of these, this is the core of it all, and it's all about what you feel inside about this machine. If you're feeling negative towards it, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to share it. If you're feeling positive about certain things, then it's much easier to share that. So you've got to come from that heart space. This is from my experience. And I also, from my perspective and from the way I come across from sharing it, is coming from a really intuitive way of being, of just sharing it with friends that I believe it can really, really help them, and to make them really feel like they are able to really use this machine and receive the benefits from it. So I think that, like, the important questions are, if you're afraid of coming across as wanting to sell, is the first question I would say is, why do I want to share the Healy? Why do you want to share the Healy? What is it about Healy that you want to share? That's the first question. Second question is, how do you think Healy can benefit people around you? And are you able to share that with them, and not from a sales point of view, but because you actually want to help them? And thirdly, what change and transformation do you think the Healy can bring to these people's lives? And, you know, for example, I just went out for a walk before I came on this call, and I keep bumping into this old man who's got Parkinson's disease. And, you know, it's really funny because every time I bump into him, I want to share the Healy with him, because I know that it's possible that this might help him. You know, I'm not saying it will heal him, but it might possibly help him. And I'm always afraid to talk to him about it, because, you know, he's old, firstly, and I'm like, is he going to understand this machine? And then my thought process goes into, is he actually going to be able to work the machine? Because he's 70, and, you know, he's not so with the technology. And I feel like there's certain things that we can do to actually help share this machine with even the generation that can't work technology. And there's part of me that really wants to create something for them as well at some point, where I can actually create maybe a way to bring this machine to the people that can't use technology, because at the moment I feel like they're missing out. But yeah, that's just like, they're just a few of my thought process, and I want to just like pass over to Vicky in a minute, just in terms of, because I feel like Vicky brings another side to this, because there is a part of us that we have to share Healy for the healing benefits. But, you know, Vicky's probably going to touch on the fact now that why shouldn't we be able to receive when we're giving a service? So passing over to Vicky to show the other side of the coin.
Hi. it's really funny because even though we're talking about sharing it, there is a part of me that's like, oh, I don't want to make videos and I don't know about talking about this stuff, because it is it's the edge of your comfort zone, definitely. But let me tell you how I found Healy before I tell you about any of the other stuff. So we've got a bioresonance healing centre in Glastonbury. It's my mum's shop, Magdalene Wellness, and Abbey appeared last summer, and she really wanted to learn about frequency medicine. And we've already got a device in the shop. It's £5,000 practitioner device, and it's phenomenal. What you can get off this device is phenomenal. What it tells you about pathogens and bacteria and meridians is absolutely mind-blowing. And Abbey kind of turned up and she's like, I've got a frequency device too, and I want to learn. But she was so beautiful and gentle with it that I've got to just do this. We're back. I'll do it in a second. She was really beautiful and gentle with it. So it was, she didn't really push it and she didn't really explain it. She kind of said, oh, when you're free, I'll give you a session and just let me know when you're ready. And it wasn't until my sister lost her dog a week before Christmas. And Abbey just happened to be at our house and my sister was in bits. She'd lost the dog for 2 days. And my mum said, if she doesn't find that dog, it's going to ruin Christmas. It's going to be terrible. And Abbey just happened to be in our kitchen and she said, why don't we try putting it on the Healy? She said, I haven't got a dog. She said, but loads of people on the Facebook group use it on pets and they have really good response. It's worth a go. So bearing in mind, my sister had walked 30 kilometres. She got every ex-boyfriend she had for 10 years looking for the dog. The kids were off school looking for the dog. 13 and a half minutes after Abbey put the dog in the Healy, the dog is sitting at the car like nothing's happened. So me and Abbey were absolutely blown away by this. And I was like, okay, what else can we put in the machine? And my sister, funnily enough, didn't share it with anybody because she said, everyone's going to think I'm crazy. She's gone, they don't get it. They think it's, but so me and Abbey looked at each other and said, right, what else can we put in the Healy? And I said, money. It's a week before Christmas. If I can get £500, I'm buying a Healy. So I put money comes to me quickly and easily in the manual setting. And it was about £7:30 in the evening. And by the time I went to bed, I'd had £1,000 put in my bank from clients and customers that hadn't paid and random things. So me and Abbey were like, right, we're ordering one. And it actually arrived on the 21st of December. My Healy arrived on the 21st of December. And I'm a holistic therapist. I work with clients with a whole myriad of different ailments. And we've got a guy with MS who we've treated really well. But this whole lockdown's made him really depressed and he's gone back a lot in his progress, and he's become, basically he doesn't want to get out of bed. He's got no kind of get up and go. And Abbey was giving him weekly sessions. She's still giving him sessions now, and he's completely transformed. All his speech has come back. His mood's a lot better. He's sleeping without pain. So that has then led on to being more confident to be able to share it with other people. There's another close friend of mine, Gemma, who I was hoping would be on this call. She's based in Ibiza. She's just been for a hip operation, and the surgeons were absolutely amazed to find that she used the Healy instead of pharmaceuticals to deal with her pain. And her healing process was really good. Prior to a hip operation, she used the Healy because she's in so much pain. She was on tramadol, cocodamol, diazepam, and she was like, it's just making me so ill. I've got all these side effects. And pre-surgery, she was using the Healy for about 3 weeks and she loves it. She's been like militant with it, using it every day. And she also kind of puts into the mix that the Healy was part of her manifesting the surgery, because that's the other kind of thing that happens. Not only do you get the physical benefits, there's also a lot of psychic benefits, spiritual benefits, like being in the flow. It's really hard to explain what it is that happens, but everything feels like it fits together more. So that's my Healy story, and I've kind of pushed Abbey a little bit to give her a bit more oomph in making a group and saying how amazing she is and how good she is at getting this information into bite-sized chunks, because it is quite a lot to take in for somebody who I mean, I already knew about energy medicine. We've been working in this field for a couple of years, so it wasn't so new. But if you can explaining it to somebody who's completely new, we've got to make it bite size. And the best way to do that, in my experience, so I come from a sales background, and I've done soft sales and hard sales. Like, I used to be a makeup girl, it used to be very friendly, and also for my sins, I sold double glazing for a short amount of time as well. So you couldn't get much more hardcore sales than knocking on somebody's door who doesn't know you and trying to talk them into giving you 10 grand for new windows. And I think the middle ground for this is taking all the best bits and bringing it to this group. And one of the things that I found most useful in the double glazing sales was sharing each other's pitch, sharing each other's stories. So you create bite-sized chunks on what it is you're trying to explain. So you basically split it into sections. The first thing to connect to somebody is the person. So the person's got to like you, they've got to be in the right mood to listen to what you're saying, with a cup of tea or overtime when they're not busy. And then once you're connecting to that person, you, like Abby was saying, is where do you find the place that you can help them or that can benefit them? Like, some people are going to be obvious because they're going to have pain or they're going to have conditions that you want to help them with. But some people are going to be more obscure. So it might be like fitness related, it might be animal related, it might be something like treating a relative that's inaccessible. Like, obviously now with this crazy pandemic going on, a lot of people are worried about their elderly parents or people who live a long way away. And there was one lady on the Australian meeting, and she was treating her elderly mother who was 74. She lived over 150 miles away, and she was a therapist. And she basically said, I really want to help my mum, but every time I go to see her, we end up arguing because I keep trying to treat her and fix her, and she just gets annoyed, and I end up leaving on an argument, and it's just getting worse and worse. And she said she's been treating her mother with the Resonance app distantly, and she's been getting all the benefits. So she feels better, her health symptoms are better, she's sleeping a lot more soundly. So when she does visit her mother, she's they're not arguing, and they're talking about things, and she doesn't have to spend the whole time healing her because she's done it already distantly. So there's lots of different ways to connect to different people, and this is what me and Abby were talking about, potentially making like a fact sheet of some of these benefits. So some people might be completely focused on their animals, and don't forget, it's a really expensive thing to look after a sick animal with vet bills and insurances. And if the Healy can help a pet, that's a massive benefit for some people. So once you've done the person, the next thing to explain is the company. So who are they and what is it? So the company is a German-based company, which is always a good sales point because it's not made in China rubbish. It's reliable engineering. The guy, Marcus, is a really interesting character. He used to be a monk, sorry. He was a monk out in India for 10 years, and he developed this technology. He's got a really brilliant backstory. There's an amazing interview he did that I'm sure is in the Healy Avalon group that we could find. And it's just worth doing a little bit of research on who Marcus is, who Healy are, where they came from. They are a product of the Time Weaver. So their original device is actually the practitioner device, very similar to the one we have in the shop. The Time Weaver is where all the programs are made. So they then created the Healy as like the Time Weaver's little brother to create a device that was available to be used at home. What they were saying was the frequencies are so effective that they need to be used little and often, rather than see a practitioner twice a month or something isn't enough. You need to use these frequencies regularly. And the other thing that the Healy has that the other energy medicines don't have is it uses the phone as an interface. So for example, my mum's device, the Tesla machine, it's a little bit of a nightmare because it only works on some programs. We have to have a massive Apple screen. You have to have the client there. So the Healy's solving a lot of problems as far as accessibility. It's portable, it's easy to use, and by using it off the phone, you're solving a lot of these problems. The next point to make is the products. Well, what does it do? Why have I got it? What are the programs? Why would I have the more expensive one instead of the gold cycle? So these commonly asked questions, it's again, just the more you do a little bit of research, you watch some webinars, you will literally have the answers to these off the cuff. So Abby's been making some really good resources explaining the programs, but the general gist is everything's changing at the end of April, so I don't want to be too specific with the programs, but tailor the programs to what you originally wanted to meet the client for. So if they have chronic pain issues, it's got a chronic pain program, mental health, hormone balance, pets, bioenergetic smog, like EMF protection is another one that's really popular. And just kind of work your way around. You don't have to learn everything at once, and this is why Abby's making these amazing bite-sized resources, but explaining about the products. And this is where we want to create these hangouts so we can share personal stories and anecdotes and real life experiences of like, what programs do you like, why are you using that one? I mean, personally, I'm running the Coherence program now, and it's my go-to. Coherence program's now my go-to. Abby's got some brilliant tips and habits of things like putting the programs on before you sit at the computer, things like mental balance. So me and Abby will go and do some work, and she'll go, right, put the mental balance on before we start so we can get aligned and make the most of this session. And then the last part of the explaining the product is obviously the price. And this is the one that's really tricky, and it's the one that makes people kind of go, oh, I don't want to mention it, or it's too much. But I think if you can really, what we used to do with Windows, yeah, is we'd say, oh, do you smoke, or do you eat junk food, or do you drink coffee? Having new windows is the same as buying a coffee every day, or a packet of cigarettes a week, or making these comparisons. And I think what Healy are doing now with the subscription model, it's going to change again, but there's definitely urgency to anybody in your group at the moment that hasn't got a full resonance package, that this sale price is only available till the end of the month, and after this it's going up quite considerably. So it's worth mentioning, again, reaching out from a good place, because after the end of April, the programs that are now £1,300 are going to be £4,500. So all of this reaching out and building your community, it's always to strengthen everybody, because your team are going to feel better when you're informing them. And also, another thing that Abby did when we first met is there was a sale on in November, and Abby kind of loosely mentioned the sale, but I didn't really get it, and I didn't really get I didn't really understand why it was a sale. And I've been thinking about this of like, what could she have said to me to make me think, oh, I'll have a look at it and I'll work it out. So I think this is like where these Healy Hangouts become our own resource, because we're all kind of learning together, and whatever good tips and tricks and videos and ways of saying things and links, all of that, if we can pull it together as a joint resource, we can all learn together and fine-tune what we're saying and come from a good place. I think the main issue that I have, that was my biggest challenge, was doing the back-end organisation. And literally I manifested Abby, and she just makes that stuff look easy. She's like, we've made a database, we've got a Google Doc, we've got a page. So I think once we've got these resources, every time we introduce somebody new, it's going to get easier and easier. But hopefully we're going to section these off and put it into bite-sized chunks so we can make it more accessible. The other thing about sales is it doesn't have to be all at once. Like, you can just tease people's interest. A technique that Abby did is she just offered a free session every one a day. She was doing a session for people who she was reaching out to, and in the end her sales turnover was massive because it was so gentle. It was such a gentle approach, and the gentle approach works as well. There's no right way or wrong way, and I think as we learn together, we'll work out where the gaps are, and hopefully we'll be able to fill them.
Cool.
Anyway,
thank you, Vicky. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, it's an interesting one, really, because, you know, even like the word sell, you know, selling the Healy, it just kind of, it gives me the like, oh, I don't think that's really a great word to use. And it's not even about that's not even how I see it. Like, I just don't. I just see it as like, it's all about sharing this device. Like, it's about sharing healing. That's where I feel it comes from. It comes really from the heart space. And also that an important thing is to let go of the outcome, I believe, to really share this device. Because if you let go of the outcome, the need to sell it, I feel like that is where suddenly you become restricted because you've got an expectation. So maybe just let go of all your expectations. And, you know, say, for example, somebody comes to you and wants to, you know more about Healy. And I have quite a few of those people coming to me and they're saying, oh, I want to know more about Healy. And, you know, I'll spend quite a bit of time with them. And then they might go off and buy it from someone else. And it's like so frustrating. And they're like, oh my gosh, I just like spent so much time with this person and they gone and bought it through someone else. I had one challenge actually last week. I'm sure some of you have had this challenge here. I'm sure you have, where like, because it's happened to me twice now, where I've been sharing it with friends and giving scans out, you know, and doing something just from the goodness of my own heart. And then they come and say, oh, I've seen it for cheap on eBay. I'm going to get it from eBay. And I'm like, oh, great. Thanks for that. I just spent like 2 hours of my time just giving you like loads of information. And now you want to go and get it cheap on eBay. And that just makes me really crazy, because actually that's not what the Healy is about. It's about sharing. It's about community. And you know, I try not to get angry about it. I try to watch that, because everything happens for a reason, and I do believe in that. And I think as well, when that happens, I usually just say, look, you're not going to get the same like team or like mentorship as you would if you were in our team. Because I mean, I did have one guy who at the very beginning of my Healy journey bought it through eBay. And I said, look, you can get it through eBay if you want, but you won't have any support, because you won't have, you won't have your back office, you won't have a team. And, you know, of course, what does happen is he gets it from eBay and he can't at all get it to work. And he's spending months trying to get it to work because he has no support team. So, you know, you've got like examples like that can happen. And that can make you feel a little bit deflated. But also, you might also get like people, you know, I had one lady ask me for a call last week, and it's someone that hasn't bought a Healy yet, and it's someone in the downline of our team, and I said, oh yeah, we'll do a quick call, and she just read all the bad stuff on the internet about Healy. And of course you're going to find, if you look up anything, you're going to look up negative responses on the Healy on that product online, because there's always something against something everywhere. But of course, as we all know, Healy has not been the perfect company to start off with. So that's also been a really kind of a challenge for I'm sure for many of us, is to share Healy now, especially in this time where we've had no support, we've had no people, like no resources. We don't know what program to do or how to do it. And, you know, all of these things are challenges that we've had to face. And I actually put my hands up to all of you for even being on this call, because it takes a lot of, it takes so much, how do you say it, perseverance and passion to stick with Healy, especially during the times that we've been through. And I think that we actually all need to come together like this to really keep us going, to keep the support going, keep saying, yeah, we can do this. This machine has really, like, it's changed so many lives. And I feel like if we can just share it from our heart space, share it with the people around us that really, really need this machine, and do it literally on that basis, it will flow towards you. And, you know, I've had first experience of that as well. So knowing that we can make a positive impact in the world is also another point. And remembering that you want to do good for others, that's our mission. And I feel like that's Marcus's mission. I feel like that is the way to share this machine, and it's not about anything else. And the fact that you know, we don't share it because we're afraid to look like a salesperson, that's stopping people from, that's kind of blocking, your own fears are blocking yourself from sharing it with people that might actually benefit from it. So it's about really looking at that fear and going, okay, what happens if I just post something, even just something small? What happens? And what happens actually if we do get something negative? What does that mean? And really look at that thought process of like feeling that and what it actually feels like to have that negative response. And does it really matter if you get a negative response? Isn't that, I mean, I once got that information in like, it's like when you get a negative feedback is good for us. It's just a form of just understanding what we're here to do, and we actually just learn from it all actually, and not see it as, you know, as a bad thing. So that's like that's actually kind of my vision of sharing Healy, and I hope that's helpful for everybody. And I just want to like really, does anyone have an experience that they want to share with sharing Healy, like negative or positive, that they think might be that might be like beneficial for everyone here in the group?
Hi, Abbey. Yes, I can share my experience.
Hi, Sabine. Thanks.
I'm sorry, I'm French. Huh? I hope you will understand me.
French.
Yes, what you are talking about, it's exactly where I talk from, because I have really a problem with selling from a long time ago. But the thing is, I really know, I know what Healy benefit for me, and I have a lot of success with it for my health. And when I see testimonials in a Facebook group or Telegram group, it's amazing. So I talk to people from this space, from my experience, from what I've been experienced and what it has done for me and for my father. And after I said to people that there are so many testimonials about amazing change in health people. And so that's how I can talk about Healy. And of course, now I know many things about the company and how it works, so people can ask me any kind of question I can answer. But yes, it's my way to talk about it. Otherwise, I won't do it because I'm blocked to, I don't like to sell, or it's exactly what you've been saying. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly how I started as well. It was through sharing my experience, and I was learning that from the Australian team actually. I think that's a really good first step actually, is just sharing, writing your own testimonial, or even better, doing a video. That's like another challenge, but I feel like that's possible, and I feel like it's a good challenge to set yourself, is to share your testimonial in a visual form. And I would love to offer the opportunity for anyone to share their video testimonial to the Healy Avalon Facebook group, where we can, you know, or even to our website, where we're happy to share that on there as a little challenge for everybody. Yes, so I feel like that's the first stage. We've covered quite a bit there. And I think what we will do, and I'm in the process of doing it actually, is I'm setting up some training modules on how to do this. We're doing training modules for a few different things, like Vicky said, but I will be offering like kind of like a step-by-step guide in our resources at some point, which I'm happy to share with everybody, if that helps. Vicky, do you have anything you want to share on top?
Well, something that happened to me when I shared my Healy story on my Facebook was, I had a lady say underneath, "So I don't get it. Are you trying to heal people, or are you trying to earn money?" And I really sat with it for a while. I thought, oh, is it an either or question? Do they not fit? Are they not can you not do both at the same time? And I think this is where me and Abby were talking about how we need to approach this thing. And actually, it's a money wound. We generally, a lot of the healers and the people that want to do the good work have got this money wound, feeling that you can't charge for healing, or money is bad, or only greedy people have money, and all of these relative beliefs that take a long time to untangle. So we were talking about doing some sort of meditation or some sort of cord cutting or felt sense meditation where we can actually feel it in the body and re-establish our relationship with money as a currency, as something that comes through us. It's not something we hoard, it's not something you need, and it's not going to make you in a certain way. It just needs to flow. And if you are giving and you are helping and you are coming from a good place, 100% you deserve to have all your other needs met. And I think that this is something that we really need to address, not only in the Healy groups, but also in the greater kind of healer light worker community. So my personal project is I'm doing a cannabis magazine project, talking about CBD, hemp and cannabis projects. And it's really interesting because there's loads of people, healers, doing good work, helping patients, who have got this money wound, who are like, oh, but I can't charge and I don't want to take people's money off them. And simultaneously, we've got these multinational, multi-billion-pound companies that are coming over and have no morals whatsoever. We've taken as much money as they possibly can for a product that's cost them a fraction of the price to produce. So I think that this is another issue that's been presented by humanity that needs healing. It's about balance, and it's about everything being irrigated. And if you start to think of money like water, it's like some places are flooded and some places are there's a drought, and we just need to spread it out, and we can bring life to all of these separate pockets. I actually joined Forever Living about 20 years ago when I first left college, and it was a really peculiar experience because I really loved it. Actually, I really loved going to the meetings and being in that vibe of like, we're going to help people and we've got something to share. And I was thinking about it recently, like, what was it that I liked about that thing? And it was about empowering everybody. They were encouraging everybody, read self-help books, give yourself confidence, get 100 no's. And they were encouraging just getting the confidence of just sharing what you've got to say. And also, the other thing that I really liked about it was they were saying, if you're in a 9-to-5 job, you're being blagged. You're going to get to pension age and you're not going to have enough to retire. So you need to start working now at putting this retirement fund behind. And I think this like wake-up call of giving people the responsibility of their own future and their own way to earn money. Now, just kind of a couple of £100 extra a month can make a massive difference. It could be something like that pays for somebody's driving lessons, that then allows them to go somewhere that they couldn't go, or it allows them to go on holiday or fix. It's like once you start producing this, like, why are you doing it? So when Forever Living, what they did with new people that were coming to the company is the first thing you do is you go, why are you doing it? What's the point? Why are you doing it? Why do you want to be a business? Do you want to share it with people you love? Do you want to get people out of pain? Do you want to earn £500 extra a month? Because that means you could give up your shitty office job that you hate. So it's like, what is it? Oh, I want to take the kids to Disneyland. I need to save £5,000. Okay, let's do it in a year's time. Put it on the mood board. And this kind of manifesting. And what happens is when you give somebody the why, when they fall off the train, because a couple of people have said no, and they said, I don't care. Why? Leave me alone, or give you some bad feedback, people give up. And it's generally what happens to everybody. Is it's not just you, everybody does it. Is you go, oh, I'm really confident, and then somebody knocks the confidence out of you and you go, oh, I've changed my mind, I don't want to do it anymore. And then you need to have that in the motion, that no, you know it's going to happen, and you go, no, it's okay, it happens to all of us. Get back on the horse. Do you know what I mean? And I think that if we can kind of predict this, because everybody does the same thing, we might think we're really unique and individual, but actually we're all the same. We're all really insecure. We're all really got loads of issues. We're all scared about being the powerful, abundant, beautiful thing that we are. And we're really scared. So let's all hold our hands and go together and be scared together and make ourselves look a little silly sometimes, but it doesn't matter, because I think it self-corrects. And I think what I've found from the Healy is I've actually got a friend of mine who's he's doesn't look like, he wouldn't fit in this group. He's like a 60-year-old businessman gangster that you look at and think, no way. And he's been wearing the Healy now for a couple of weeks, and he's like, Vic, I'm doing things at work that I've put off for months. I said, what else? He said, oh, my pain's gone in my arm, but things are happening, like I can't explain it. And I think this is the magic. And I think once you kind of step into the magic, the universe will fill the gaps. So it's taking the first steps and taking the initiative and having the confidence of knowing that the other steps will come, even if you're not quite sure what they are yet.
Perfect. Thank you. That was really great information. Actually, I've written some of those points down. After the call, what I will do is I'll hopefully transcribe this call so we have it in written text. So if anybody wants to have it in written text, it's possible. Because I found that was actually quite interesting, Vicky, what you were saying there. I really like those points. Really cool. Okay, so moving on to the next stage then of this Healy Hangout session. I've noticed quite a few people writing messages in the chat, so I might just go through some of those, see if I can answer some of the questions, and then I'll if anyone else wants to ask a question as well, you can do that as well. So the first one's from Nicole, and it says, oh no, hold on a moment. I'll start with Bernie. Let me just see, what's this one? So Bernie had the question about, I think she's gone now. Oh no, Bernie's still there. About changing, about just a usage problem with the app again. So what I'll do is I'll send you the information after this call about how you can reconnect it. If anyone's having any usage problems with the Healy, just there's actually a really good group. I don't know if you're part of it, but it's quite good. I'm not sure if it's only for our team, so I just need to double check that with them. But if you want, you can send me a private message if you're having a usage problem, and I will try my best to answer you. If you want to do it just after this call, because I'll give myself some time after this call if anyone wants me just to help them troubleshooting if they've got any issues, because I know that's coming up quite often, a troubleshooting thing with Healy. So I do have some of the answers if you, and I do repeat them on these calls quite a bit. So I will come back to you all with those with the answers for that.
Just to add about the usage stuff. Yeah. So this is just an observation, but what I've found is definitely with the Blue app, if the person who you're scanning isn't open to you being scanned, you get some really bizarre bonkers readings. Mm-hmm. And if you then start to get angry with the Healy starts not working at all. And I think the more frustrated you are with the Healy, something picks up that it's spiky. And I actually said that to my friend earlier, who was going, right, I'm going to do my first scan. And he was on the phone to me and he was going, it's not connecting. I said, you know what? It's going to pick up your vibe. So if you're annoyed with it, it knows. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And he laughed. 5 minutes later, he's called me back and said, yeah, I'm connected now. It's fine. Mm-hmm. So just be mindful that, I mean, me and Abby were on a call with the Time Weaver guy the other day about Healy programs and Time Weaver stuff. But one of the things he said, which was brilliant, that made a lot of sense, was when you're using the Pink app and the equivalent of their Time Weaver, when you're connected with the wire is connecting the technology to the client. When you're on the Blue app, it's a ferric wire it with the consciousness. So you're having to make a conscious connection. So if that person believes it's not going to work, then you put them on the machine, it doesn't work, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy because you're dealing with the energy field. So it's this, if there's not a coherence and a spikiness, then what I've found, even if the person's in front of the app and they lose interest, the bar will go to about 50% and it will freeze, and it just will not get to the end of the database. It's like they've lost the connection, like their consciousness has gone, oh, I'm not interested anymore. And it's interesting that all of these user things are happening because I've started it as well, and I start getting annoyed. And I've got a separate phone. I've got my old phone because apps can knock it out as well. So if you're using the phone you use of calls and Facebook, some of the notifications can knock it off. But even on a separate phone, on a separate device, with it charged, with everything working, if you're annoyed, the app doesn't always work. FYI.
Yes, absolutely. Like, do you know what? It's the same. Every time I get frustrated, it seems to not work. And I do think that is a reoccurring thing, that, you know, it's a quantum sensor. This thing is all about energy. And if your energy is radiating out with a negative frequency, that can affect it. And, you know, you can believe it or not, but from my experience, if I'm not as calm as I usually am, then it can affect my Healy. And I sit there and I look at it and I'm like, what's wrong with me? Why is it not working? Okay, I need to relax and breathe. Maybe I need a break, kind of thing, you know? And I try to work it like that as well. I think that it will get better in the end. And I think that they are working on it. So hopefully that, you know, if technically it is getting better. But yes, the whole thing about, there's a question there from someone who said they haven't had any benefits yet from the Healy. She sent me a direct message and she's waiting for those results. And, you know, it's like, it's interesting because I've had a few people that haven't had results yet from their Healy as well. And it's an interesting one because they seem to be the ones that are not 100% into it, or they're not surrendering to it, or they still have some negative thought patterns towards it. And I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm just saying that maybe just have a look and watch yourself and figure out, what is it? Is there something that might be blocking you from receiving the frequencies?
We've got another bonkers client who's my client, who's had it misdelivered, it wasn't activated, it finally got delivered, it was 6 weeks late, only one that's ever been 6 weeks late. It got stolen from his front door before FedEx left it on his, and he's had an absolute nightmare. And me and Abby sat there the other day and he was like, what's going on? Like, what is going on? And he's got a lot of other stuff going on, and it's like, it's a block. There's something stopping him from even getting it in his hand. And it's really interesting to see all these stories that are playing out simultaneously. And you can kind of play Cluedo and look and go, I wonder what it is. And we haven't got the answer, but we were just dropping it in as another curious thing, that like, what is blocking that from working? So it's multidimensional.
Brilliant. And well done, Celine, for doing a video and putting it on YouTube and sending it to 200 people. Amazing. And how did that feel? Did you get any like negative responses? Did you get positive responses? What was your feeling about that?
For the moment, I have no responses.
Okay.
And it's okay for me, because what I really want is to share the information.
Great. Well, what you should do, and what we can do, if you want to share it on the Healy Avalon page, we're happy to share it on there so people can see your testimonial. It is that block to get out on the camera, isn't it? And to really just like share it. I feel like once you're over that first hurdle, it becomes easier, and then you go, oh, actually that wasn't so bad. And actually imperfection is key, because if you're trying to be perfect, I'm sorry, it's never going to happen. We're all human, we're all imperfect, and that's the beautiful part of it all, actually. And when you start to realize that, you can really just let it go and not be worried about how you come across to people. So yeah, and I'm just opening the floor up. Like, does anyone want to have any other questions that they need answering? It can be anything, you know, big or small. No? Okay, so just,
Hi.
oh yeah.
So someone said in the comments about wearing the wristbands, and I saw it in a group that some people don't wear them
Yeah.
for the pink app, the microcurrents. So this week I said I'll try some without it, but I just don't know if it's okay to do that or if it makes a difference.
So to be honest, I think that it works, because obviously the frequencies are going to come out of this machine, right? And you connect it with the wires to your wrists. And there's a few friends of mine who've got it. They're so sensitive to the Healy that they don't wear the straps, but they turn it up to 100%, and then they just let that radiate. I'm also sure that the protection programs are without the wires. They work on the bioenergetic field. So I do believe it works. I think when we get the coil, the new part that will go to it, that will make that's going to be used without wires. I mean, I personally feel like it does need to, for me, needs to be connected to the body, because I get better results myself. But there's been a few times where I've not had wires, and I've had similar results and similar. I have felt the same as I would having it connected to my body. So I guess just experiment with it, really. I feel like the Heal is about that. I don't think there's any right or wrong way of doing it. I think if your intention is the Healy's on, it's sending out frequencies here without the wires, and that's going into my body, that's going to work, because in the end of the day, it's an intention and the program is running. And I do believe it works like that. If you just try both, try with the wristbands, maybe write a blog, write a journal every day, see how you feel, and then do it for a few days without, and do the journal for that, and just see the difference, and just try to log how you feel every day. I think that could be a good experiment. So yeah, have you felt any different? Have you noticed any differences without wearing the wristbands?
No. But as I said in the comment, I feel like I might have had all of these great changes and stuff, but I'm like, is it really, or do I just want to think it is? And I'm hearing, like, I'm on loads of calls and hearing everybody talk about how amazing and big aha moments, and I'm like, well, maybe, but so that's why I was like, when I get my big aha moment, I'm happy to share. Yeah, like, we'll say I'm on a blood pressure pill and my blood pressure went down, but I don't know if that's because of the Healy or because it's just time for it to go down, as it has slowly been over the last year or two. Like, do you know, it's a bit hard for me. And then also, I do believe in what you're saying. Some people I do it for that wouldn't believe in it as much as I do. I think I do, but I do think the more spiritual the person is, then it works. Or if someone has been to bioenergy healing type kinesiology or anything like that, they're automatically in tune. Or if they're meditating while you're doing it, instead of asking you, well, what is it, and don't believe it. So yeah, I do think there's definitely truth in all of that, everything you say. And thanks to the two of you, because your page is brilliant and these calls are brilliant. They really are helpful.
Oh, thank you, Nicole. That's so lovely. Yeah, I think you're so, I totally relate to you completely about that. Like, every person that, you know, is negative towards the Healy or is not quite sure, most of the time they get a weird scan, or, you know, they're not, it definitely is about being open. I think I did cover it on the last call last week, about, me and Vicky were on this another time waver call, and just some of the first steps they say is make sure you're really comfortable with your Healy, light a candle, put some relaxing music on, feel really relaxed for yourself or for a client, and then meditate or bring yourself into that relaxed state of being, because then we're completely open and you're able to receive the frequencies in a much better way and in a more accurate way, rather than, you know, doing your daily stuff. And, you know, to be honest, I don't get that much time to do that, sitting and relaxing and doing it. But whenever I do get the chance to meditate, I will do my Healy then, and I do feel like I'm getting much better results. So possibly, you know, how long have you had your Healy, Nicole?
I think possibly 2 months at this stage.
Okay. I recommend just experimenting with it a little bit, like maybe doing like if you do your Healy in a quietly or with meditation and relaxing and really bringing yourself into that space, and trying to bring in a daily routine, whether it be, okay, I'm going to wake up, I don't know, at 8 o'clock, and I'm going to spend the first 20 minutes of my day doing a Healy program, which is, I don't know, anyone you want. There might be a 20-minute program. I always like the mental balance acute. It always gets me going in the morning, and that one really helped me dissolve my blocks. But you might find another one that you might like to do, and just giving yourself that moment in the morning just to really receive whatever frequencies you need to receive, and then seeing how your day goes. And yeah, keep a log. And I do have the same thing as you, where I'm not sure if it's the Healy that's made it happen, or if it's me, or if it's something else. And it is a constant conversation I have with many people around me. They go, it's you, it's not the Healy. I was like, there's just too many synchronicities at this stage for it to be just me. And, you know, but maybe it is.
Abbey had quite a bizarre one the other day. She runs a meditation on a Friday, and she told me, she said, I don't know what it is, but somebody really triggered me on Facebook. She said somebody insulted Glastonbury, and I was really triggered. And somebody was like, no, don't go to Glastonbury, they're all crazy. And Abbey was like, right, come to our meditation, you're always welcome. We're always welcoming fresh people, and we'd love to have you. And the girl arrived, and she was looking for a flat. And there was another girl at the meditation who wanted to rent a room in her house. And Abby's gone, oh, I'm going to introduce you. Introduced them, found her a room, then found out she's got a Healy, then found out she's in her downline. She's actually in Abby's downline. And so they've been trying to introduce that for months, and they've missed each other. And Abbey just found her randomly on a post that triggered her on Facebook. And then I've had this thing, we're looking for advertisers, and I found this guy who's selling phones, and he's from Birmingham, and he's called James. So I was like, oh, I love the name James. It's my little boy's middle name. It's my dad's, my granddad's, our family name. Gone on his Instagram page, and he's sitting there with a Healy. So the universe has got a bit of a sense of humour. Another funny story is I got the gold program with the weight loss. I was like, give me the fitness, get me thin, weight loss program. And New Year's Day, our friend turned up and goes, right, I'm doing fitness. We're going to run around the thing for 2 hours a day. Who's in? And I thought, oh my God, is this how it works? Like, is this what happens? As you say, I want to do this. And then the universe goes, run. And you're like, oh, I just thought I could run the program. So how does it work? And I completely understand, like, it's the subtleness that is like, has it worked? Hasn't it worked? I mean, I've found I'm a lot less ragey. Generally, I'm quite kind of like shouty. I'm a bit of a shouty person. When I get to the point when if you're going to cry or shout, I'm like, just leave me alone. And it's turned my shoutiness down, if that's actually a thing. I feel like it has. I'm sure if you asked everybody, they'd be like, no, you're still shouting. But I feel like it's just made me be able to be a little bit more like, not so easily flicked into just like, I've had enough. I can just hold it down a lot more for a lot longer. But is it the Healy? Is it now I'm super mature and adult and it's just all of a sudden happened? I don't know. But from a client perspective, what I say to my clients is write a diary and try and work out, say, 3 things you can score. So like, how's your sleep? How's your mood? How's your appetite? Or do you like have you got energy? Like some people have got fibromyalgia and stuff and lose energy in the middle of the day, like they feel lethargic. So find yourself as something you can score out of 10 and just jot it in the bottom of your diary every day so you can see improvements or see how it's changed.
Yeah, no, now that you say that, sleep has definitely improved. And then I went through the first month, I think it was, I was on top of the world. I done a 21-day talking to different people about just high vibes, talk about anything that's going to help people during the lockdown. And it turned out to be really brilliant. So I was full of energy, started a new job, blah, blah, blah. But then went way under. I kind of, the cold sort of came on. So I was a bit under for a couple of weeks. So I didn't know if that was maybe the Healy as well. And then, so now I'm leveling out now, but I'm doing a 21-day now at the minute, 2 weeks in, getting up at 6:30 to do gratitude, manifesting and all visualization and stuff. But I haven't been using the Healy during that. So which one, the mental balance, do you think?
Yeah, so that's the perfect opportunity to do a program while you do those things, definitely. I mean, it's up to you. Use your intuition, or do a scan. Do you have the resonance?
Yeah, and the first couple of weeks I religiously done the gold pure in the morning and then release at night. And then in the middle, I would see what comes up for me. So
Okay.
now,
I mean, yeah, I've definitely used my intuition quite a lot more than, well, probably the same amount as I use the scanner. I do the scan every so often, but I do like to use my intuition. Why not try? Have you tried the Coherence Program yet? The new one?
I'm doing that a lot in the last week
Okay.
or maybe longer. Yeah.
I mean,
Sometimes
actually,
twice a day, but you're only allowed, well, you're only supposed to do 3 of the pink app a day, isn't that right?
yeah.
I'd say if you're going to do, as long as you drink a lot of water. So they were saying about like rehydration. So the vibration hits the body via the water. So if our internal oceans are, we've drunk enough and it's not full of sugar and toxins and stuff, we can take it a lot better. But if you're running a lot of programs and you're not hydrated, you can give them a healing crisis. So just be mindful of that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get symptoms from doing the programs. I've a lot of people that I know who have been doing the Healy and have started the Healy. They've got sick not long after, and I feel like that is like one of the symptoms that comes up, like after using the Healy, after even after a month or 6 weeks. So everything just shifts. And if I remember back when I first started my Healy process, like, I went on a massive journey, and you don't even realize till you get out of the other side and you go, and I don't think I really even looked back at it. But then even when I think now, it was so bizarre, because when you're in it, you don't see it. But when you come out of the other side, you look back, you go, wow, actually, I've just completely transformed. So, what I definitely would say is be patient with Healy, give it the space, don't force it, just give that gentle flow, give it that gentle flow. You don't need to do 5 programs a day. Take your time with it, incorporate it into your mornings, if you can. You're not going to get the right or wrong program. Go with your intuition or do a scan, and stick with the same program every day for a few days, and just really just be free with it, because that's what it's about. It's about being free and being open. And when you start trying to control it, that's when it doesn't work. So I feel like being a bit more relaxed with it and having fun with it is something that we need to do as well.
With the new nutrition app, because that's up there with the homeopathy ones, should you only do the 37 seconds with that in the blue app?
I've not actually, I've had that at the beginning, and then it went, because I think they actually put that app by mistake onto.
Mine went and came back.
So I probably haven't updated mine back, but I haven't heard anyone say how many seconds you should do it for. That's something I haven't seen.
There was a thing that they were saying, depending on how deep the thing is. So if it's a really deep body issue, you go for longer waves, but we're not 100% sure on that. But we had one of the girls in my group who was basically running an 8-hour program while she slept at night, Cara, and she's the only person I know who's done it like that. And I said, oh, how did you feel? And she was like, yeah, I felt fine. I've been sleeping really well and I've been feeling a lot more. But we need to research a little bit about the specifics of that. But if, for example, if you wanted to do, say, like a 20-minute meditation, manifesting gratitude, or half an hour, you could just literally put it on for 20 minutes or vibrate it for 37. Also, what you can do, if you were doing an aura scan, if you want to do an aura scan, and then when it goes in, you can add manual. So you can add a manual affirmation. So you could even add your affirmation of the day manually into the Healy, and that's how we found the dog, and that's how we manifested money. So you can say, today I am open to the possibilities of meeting the right person for my business, or today I, like, literally you can bespoke your own desired responses.
Yeah, I mean, that's good, because I have my abundance list on mine, which I try and do it. I actually didn't do it for about 2 weeks, and then I did it, and then suddenly all these things started flowing towards me again, and I was like, oh wow, okay, I should have been doing this more often. But yeah, I recommend doing it. And what I'll do, I do have a plan for next week, and I'll probably do a little mini scan, so we can, how to do, how to guide a scan, like an aura scan. And I can also do a little bit of a guide into how I do it, some tips and tricks on that, and then really look at like how to do a scan, and what you really need to say to your client if you're going to scan someone that you know. So I do want to close up at some point, because we're past the hour mark. I just wanted to answer another question in the group, just for the final one. And from Bernie, says, I used the pain program on my husband last week, as he's had very bad back spasms, and he's saying that the old thing isn't working. If he is negative, would it stop it from working on him? Do you know, like, it's like what we said, if someone's negative about working, I mean, it probably might affect it working on him, yeah, but why not keep trying? You can only just keep doing that, really. Just keep trying. Once he's putting it on, I mean, that's one step already. He said one yes to putting it on, so that's really good.
Another random answer to that was, there was a guy on the Australian meeting that said that he had a back problem, and the Resonance app kept saying he had to do a digestive system, and he was quite funny. He was going, I haven't got digestive problems, I've got back problems. And for 3 days he ignored the advice of the Resonance app, and he did the back pain problem with no response. And then 3 days after, he thought, oh, I might as well try the digestive system, see if it works. 2 days of doing the digestive system program, his back pain went. So maybe if you have got the Resonance app, it might be worth giving him a scan and seeing what that says he needs, rather than guessing.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you for that. Good point. So, and then so for some of the questions, if I haven't answered them yet, what I'll do is, after the call, I will just I think I've got most of you on the group. So what I'll do is I'll just send you a quick PM with the answers to your questions, because there's just a few on there that I haven't answered. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for being here. We've covered how to share Healy in any way possible, from the heart. And we've also talked about some challenges that we faced over the last month, and also it's been great to hear some of your questions and answers, some of your questions as well. Hopefully we've been able to answer them in the best possible way. Next week is actually going to be a Tuesday morning, so I don't know if that works for you all, but I will be recording it, so hopefully then we can I will go through a scan and also record that and show you how I normally do that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to continuing these Healy Hangouts, and if you've got any wishes, or if you have any topics that you'd like me to cover, feel free to send me a private message, either now in the chat, because I'm going to keep the Healy Hangout open for a while. If you want to write something in there about a topic you'd like me to cover on in the future Healy Hangouts, then yeah, please do write that in the comments there.
We were potentially talking about as well, maybe having one meeting for Healy members and then one meeting that is new people that we could bring on, so they don't know anything, they don't understand, and they want it explaining from scratch. Is that something that you guys would want, or do you want more kind of tips and tricks for the Healy that you already have? What do you think you need the most?
I think that's a great idea, because there is a difference. When people just get it at first, it's so alien. And I've seen it in other group, like the group that I would have got my Healy from. When people are just starting off, it takes up an hour, 2 hours. And so people like me, so that's a really good idea. And hi to your little girl.
Dalila. Hi, Dalila. So beautiful. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. And we look forward to the next call, which is next Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. And hopefully for the ones who are in Australia, I hope to do another one later in the evening for you guys as well. All right. Take care, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Vicky. Thanks, everyone. Bye.